Everybody, what's up? So when I made my video talking about the funny nerd and fan voice, I kind of had another thought as well, and it was kind of based off of, and it still is. CMRetro has two channels, his regular one and one called Toy Freaks. He decided he was going to split off the video game stuff from with the toy stuff, and I like watching Chris's videos when he talks about certain things, like and watching the Toy Freaks really showcases his love of certain things. And interestingly enough, he talks about micro machines. And on another channel, he talked about how he was kind of doing repairs to certain micro machine toys. It's like, oh, this is kind of interesting because I've never seen him talk about Hot Wheels. And I had asked him, why is it you never really see people who collect the micro machines talking about Hot Wheels? And he said for him, it was what he had as a kid, and there's so many micro machines is out there, different stuff involved with it. I kind of understand why people would collect one over the other, because so much of this stuff is like weirdly expensive. Like, I asked him, a story, like a market machine off community. He goes, yeah. So the price, I'm like, for that tiny little thing, I'm like, somebody else might like it. Plus, I don't want to lose. I have to like put it in something because I don't need and batting it, or if it felt like a shelf, her getting hold of it. Um, but yeah, it was kind of interesting because growing up around where I live, you saw more Hot Wheels than you did Micro Machines. Truth be told, I can't even remember seeing Micro Machines growing up at all. I don't know if it's like a regional thing or what. Um, so yeah, it's kind of one of those things I was looking at. Plus, I was never big into Hot Wheels, and I'm still not. I collect different things, but it has to be something that interests me. Um, and then I remember I was talking to there's a gentleman I've seen quite a few times, and I asked him about it, who collect like certain Hot Wheels, and he goes, he talked about how he'd never had a chance for a long time to go hunting, and he only looks for certain things. So he said, there are people that you can buy stuff from, and I really started thinking about him, like even with toys, there are fanboys. There are people that to a degree, there are people that might only buy stuff for involving Marvel, um, DC, what have you. So it is there, you know. It's kind of like with pops. People may collect all the pop figures, or they may go, well, I'm just going to collect certain sets for nostalgia reasons. But there is an interesting. I don't like saying this. It's kind of a weird thing, when we talk about fanboys, but we also talk about, we'll call them fans. When you have fans of something, one of the things is that nostalgia for a lot of adults seems to be a pretty big reason for a lot of the stuff they buy. And this Hot Wheels collector that I've seen that I talked to once, he said he likes to collect stuff that involves Ford. I mean, not Ford, Chevy. Sorry, my bad. Um, because that's the kind of car he liked. And I had mentioned to him, like, I like El Caminos. I probably never owned one, but I like, the Hot Wheels in that. And for example, like this one. This is what is it? It's the way the Glide is, 68 El Camino. And it was actually from him. I also learned, like, the treasure hunt stuff, and Monte Carlo, Mustang, Dodge Demon. Why do they call it a Demon? I don't know. Bad car? I don't know. They gotta sign a contract with the devil to create the car. Kidding. But he actually showed me a picture of this El Camino. I can't remember the name of the company now that made like a limited amount of them. That had this custom like body, like fiberglass part around. He said he's talked to people. Nobody knows where the molds are. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And when you start talking to people, like even on YouTube, you really start finding out more and more stuff. And when you're a fan of something, you really start talking to people, you get more information, you start finding out more, things you never knew. It's like I said, I never knew until I talked to Chris. I asked him about it at their Micro Machine Caminos because I had never seen them. All I knew was Hot Wheels and some Matchbox. Matchbox. Yeah, story about them. Side note, I was one of the people that was in charge of Sega here in America. He went around to different places. He had worked for the company that does Matchbox. He said he went over to Spain, and he couldn't figure out what was going on with their distribution. Apparently, they were doing bootleg, and he was told, "You need to get out of there," because he was in the factory. I found that funny for no apparent reason. But if you think about it, I mean, there are people that will buy primarily, Mario things. Right now, the Mandalorian is a big thing. I see people buying that stuff, and there's Bandai has a couple different Mandalorian-related model kits, and people are buying those. I'm like, have you ever put together a model kit before? I'm not saying anything, because you don't know. I kind of looked at it, I'm like, the price is not good enough for me. I'm like, I've never seen the show, so I'm not gonna, think about it. It's like comic book fans, you have people who stick with one over the other. Obviously, there are debates amongst them, amongst anime fans. It's just like you start looking at everything. Like going back to the Funko Pops. It's kind of a disparaging because people buy them up. And I'm actually going to tell this other part. When you come to fans and nostalgia, a lot of people just hunt constantly for things from their past. Um, who was it? Whoever Kids, he has a lot of Zelda stuff because he's a fan. Once again, I think I mentioned in the last video. Yeah, I did. And it's just insane because, seeing all this stuff people have, but it's a lot of adults that I've seen buying action figures, not really kids. With kids, you see like primarily, what's it, Bluey, some new thing, Paw Patrol. I'm trying to remember all this stuff. Kids buy Legos, but they don't buy the sets like adults do. That's one of the other things is, Chris talked about his Legos. Going to like a Lego store, and I've seen people buy Lego sets for like large amounts of money. I'm just like, eesh, even I want to spend that much. I'm not a fan of it. And as I've seen Chris talking about toys, I've seen a whole mess of other people talk about them. I think this Loch Ness Monster, shows a lot of his my Transformers, just all this stuff. And you really think about Transformers fans, how the adults will spend so much money. I've seen it. But you don't see people buying that for kids. And it really feels like certain aspects of the toy industry have become a fan thing more than anything else. And one sad story, when you talk about fans, and I wanted to go over this, here in the States, unfortunately, because of situations that have happened, in a lot of places, trading card stuff has gone primarily online only. And I kind of briefly, talked to someone. This guy, he has to talk loudly near me. And he said, I said, I've been seeing you for a long time. He goes, yeah, the different reasons. He goes, one of the things is, he goes, can't buy, he collects baseball cards. He goes, you can't get cards anymore online. He goes, people buy them up. He goes, there are bots buying and doing the purchasing. And he goes, people are just ruining the hobby. I mean, places that have Pokemon, it's still limited. One story I've seen, talking to an employee, was like going through self-checkout. Sorry, my sinuses are killing me. Give me just a moment. They were saying, that people get PO'd because they have to limit to two packs. And he goes, it's crazy how people are taking advantage of a situation. I have to agree. It's like with toys. People know people are fans of the older stuff and they're looking for them. So they'll just jack up the price. And unfortunately, I think when you look at any any hobby, I don't care if it's collecting sports stuff, movies, toys, video games, there is so much going on where people are jacking up prices because we see this influx of people buying up older games because they're trapped at home. They've been trapped at home. Andy's Hobby headquarters said paints, the prices went up because they can't keep up with the demand. So there's a lot of different things to look at. But once again, people are fans of different series. Even with people holding on to Pokemon games, Mario games, Pokemon cards as well, and stuff like that, you kind of feel bad for the real fans because they're being taken advantage of. You know, one person said to me that they will buy certain things so they have extra to trade with people because people want something. They're like, hey, um, if you, I have this, which a lot of people, if you look on eBay and that people think it's worth something, that if the person wants to do trades for certain things, they might do it. That's not taking advantage of the situation, in my opinion. It's being frugal, is getting, what you need. 99-cent Hot Wheel that turns into 50, 60 bucks because it's a treasure. Look it up. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go to that. People get what they need, but they do trades. And in hobbies, especially, anymore, it's just ridiculous. It really, truly is. Even like Funko Pop figures. Not Funko Pop, but Super 7. Kind of like with the Reaction line. Stuff like this. This is the metallic flesh. Stuff like this is going for large amounts of money. Super 7 had also worked with Funko. Some of them low price, some of them not. Even pop figures, that exclusives are nuts. But once again, it's taking advantage of people. So becoming a fan and being a fan of something really isn't easy. It's not, no matter what people say. And it goes back to, it's what people enjoy. It's like, listen, I think Chris said there's like over about 10,000 or so like micro machine cars. And different, like he said, like different sticker books, stuff like that. He goes, but when you're a fan, he goes, you do look for the stuff. And I understand that. And, when people collect toys, and I think people should just shut up. Sorry, my opinion. I tell them, don't do that. You're an adult. Adults don't buy toys. Just let people have their fun. It's like with video games, Let them, if they're paying, if they have a family and their bills are taken care of, same as an adult who lives on their own, just let them be, It's like people do have hobbies and other interests. Others may not like. But it's just the way that it is. A fan is a fan no matter what. It's like Barbie. Yes, I'm going to go there for a minute. There is, from what I've heard, so much Barbie stuff out there. One of the things that, I'm mentioning this for a reason, someone, not kidding, look it up. If you don't believe me, because there's so many articles. I hate to say that, but there are people who aren't going to believe some of this stuff. There was talking Barbie, and at one point there were like G.I. Joes where you pressed like a button on the backpack and they would talk. Somebody switched the voice chips. And there are people that are interested in getting these. The prices are not cheap if you can find one. Where like you get a Barbie and all of a sudden you hear, "Yo, Joe." Or you get a G.I. Joe and you're like, "Hey, Barbie," something like that. it's just hilarious. And there's like a version of a Ken doll where I don't remember what it was. Like people were trying to get paying high prices because it was so rare. But yeah, it's nuts, how these fans will collect stuff. And the thing about Barbie is if you look closely enough, Barbie to a degree is based off of, I can't pronounce the name. It was like the woman who created it lived in Germany, and there was a doll that guys would buy for their girlfriends, which was more of a mature thing than Barbie is. And the price of those are nuts. There's like so many toys anymore. Like people collect like the 50s and 60s and that, and they're just prices are nuts if you can get one in full. Because kids, it's kind of like it's the funny part when people talk about toys, like a loose figure versus a carded figure, like the one I just shown. Carded figures are kind of like the equivalent of video games in the fact that when you're a fan of something, if you can get something fully packed in the box that's never been opened, you are going to pay more. And the reason is, like with video games, if a video game's loose in cart, it's not going to be so much because, it's like you think about a kid opening something up on Christmas, I'm going to toss the instruction manual, I'm going to like tear into the box. Even with the comic books, people pay high amounts of money for the really good ones. So because it's complete, or maybe shrink wrapped in that, it is going to be seen in a lot of people's eyes as being worth a lot more. So I get it. I really do. I've really started getting the fan aspect of things over the course of time. And my opinion is, and I've always had the opinion of just let them be, What what's the harm of, somebody, an adult, buying something if they have the money for it? And it's no different than other things. It's not doing any harm. Sports stuff. I know people are fans of certain teams in that where they may try to collect sports memorabilia, especially like a particular player from a particular time frame. Car enthusiasts as well. I remember watching Antiques Roadshow. No, wait, I think it was Cash in the Attic. It's a British TV show. This guy had just large amounts of car memorabilia. And he passed away, and they're trying to raise money. And some of the stuff they had, just the prices were insane. And especially if you do a conversion from even like British pounds to US dollars, it's a high amount. So yeah, you're going to have that. You're going to have these enthusiasts who are just going back to the one guy. He said he's a fan of certain cars. He buys the Hot Wheels and he talks to people. One of the things I'm going to mention before I forget is look at going back to Indy's Hobby headquarters, where they just get this large amount of like vintage model kits, which a lot of them are in good condition. Obviously the instruction manuals and the decals have faded a bit because those decals don't last very well. But when you see the love and care that people put towards their stuff, you realize that even people who buy loose stuff, it's not only nostalgia, but maybe something they never had as a kid. And so it's just, for me, it's leave people be. It's not hurting anyone. Somebody wants to spend $1 for a Hot Wheels car, that's fine. And if they want to spend hundreds of dollars for something else, if they can flip or whatever, get the money, or they have a good paying job, no kids, not a lot of bills, let them. Because it's something they enjoy. And to me, wrapping it up, fan aspects, you get these, you're always going to have like extreme, no matter what. You're always going to have those people that are going to be die-hard fans of something for the rest of their lives. And no matter what, nothing you can ever say will change that mindset. It is what it is. You just have to let people be at times, you know. Yes, there are people that buy stuff up, and I've seen it. You know, that's why stores have limits on so much stuff. Certain stores, when like Funko Pop figures come out, they put a limit because they know people are going to try to scalp them, so they can make money. Obviously, you know that, and a lot of people say, well, that's, you know, that the company's making money, but it's like they see it as like Goodwill as profits that they don't make. You know, somebody could find a painting at Goodwill, it could be worth a lot of money. That's money they lose out of. They're kind of like a charity thing, which is why they're on the auction house, which is not the best. Trust me on this one. At times, the prices get to be insane. Some of them seem a little overinflated. Sorry for going off on a couple of things here, but it's just, you know, the thoughts I've had. Just let collectors be. You know, it's just, if you're a fan of something, you're a fan of something. Obviously, you know, if you find groups where, you know, where people are fans and they may have disagreements and stuff, that's fine. Don't, but attacking people for being fans of other stuff, like I said, it goes back to the funny nerd, just making a humorous video. But it does get you thinking about things in a way. And Chris's comment, CMRetro, really got me thinking about stuff. That's it, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Hope you've liked these 2 videos. I do have more stuff planned in the future. Nothing I'm going to do right now. I just got a lot of stuff going on. By the time I'm recording this video, I have vacation time coming up. So, plus my regular days off of work. So, I plan on doing some game playing. Maybe building a couple model kits, showing those off. I've just got stuff I need to do, you know. All right. Have fun. Talk to you later. Take care. Bye.